Sentinels. Love them, dislike them, or, in the case of Brazilian fans, hate them, there is one thing you can't deny. In 2021, win or lose, they were the main characters of the Valorant world.
Did it, but not used yet. Now, Flash goes in, Sick makes the push, he finds one, fights. Oh! The man's living up to his name. Absolutely sick play there.
One of the round for himself.
8-4, let's get it.
And a quick kiss. That was for you.
Window through spawn. Tense has a lot of work on his hands here. He's not going to be able to deal any damage. It's up to Dapper there. Oh, no! What the hell was that from Dapper? And they're looking good to try to finish this one. Shazam has to go to the side, gets concussed, has to be great on his first push. Oh my god! How on earth has he done that? The ripple clutch from Shazam is phenomenal.
Dream, Austin is there as well. Shazam drops. Tom slowly dancing around. Oh, he's good for one. Tom's looking for the second, baby! Zombs!
Two coming his way, two through short, another found. Tens is farming, that's three. How many more are you gonna get? Tens up and over? Go on, buddy, yeah, why not? Tens, just flexing now.
That's my name.
During the 2021 season, Sentinels were nearly untouchable in North America. There were 3 major domestic tournaments for the year, and Sentinels swept the lot, completing the Triple Crown. Regardless if they dropped a match early on, they would somehow, someway, always find their way back on top by the time an event reached its conclusion. It almost felt as if Sentinels sometimes needed to get slapped in the mouth first and bleed a little before really opening their eyes. At their peak, that was the beauty of Sentinels. At any given time, one of them could be the hero, turning around a seemingly dire and lost situation into a magical win. They were impulsive, brash. While a team that could play structured and standard when needed, sometimes it felt like they were improvising mid-scene, utilizing each of their players' natural gifts to get them across the line. Be it Tens dancing with knives or Zom zooming around a corner like an F1 car with his Spectre, there was a trust each of the players had in one another that made the team so special. In a game like Valorant where chaos reigns and a teamfight can turn into a screen of absolute nonsense with each color of the rainbow whizzing around a bomb site, Sentinels played off that ultimate trust, freestyling in the eye of the storm. In their Triple Crown year, they went an astonishing 52 wins and 11 losses in matches, and 120 wins and 41 losses in maps. Domestically, they only lost 7 matches, with their greatest international achievement coming in May, when they became the first ever international winners in Valorant history by not dropping a single map at Masters Reykjavik in Iceland. When I think about this era of Sentinels years from now, it'll always be about those nanoseconds of individual beauty strung together to create a series of instrument solos where, when everything came together, it was the most fun in all of esports at the time. After winning Iceland without dropping a single map, Zoms pronounced in a post-match interview that Sentinels boasted the 5 best players at each of their respective positions. And on that day, each of them having their own moments of brilliance, you couldn't say he was lying. So, what happened? Before heading off into the present, let's talk about Europe's Gambit Esports. If you were to create in a lab the antithesis of Sentinels, you'd probably create something looking similar to Gambit. Whereas Sentinels improvised and captivated the crowd with their bravado, Gambit were built through discipline and razor-thin timings. Instead of pure raw skill, they often finessed their opponent, pulling attention away at the perfect moment for their star player Nats to find the critical backstab on the lurk. Gambit won the second international tournament, Berlin, with Sentinels finishing in a disappointing quarter-final position. Unlike Iceland where all 5 players hummed together, they were disjointed in Germany. The lack of 1 or 2 players playing below their individual average cratering the team's overall performance. At the World Championship Champions, it was a similar story but in reverse. A player like Tens, who showed up in Berlin, had arguably his worst tournament ever as a pro at Champions. Dapper, who had a subpar Berlin, picked it up at Champions. And while Sentinels tried to find more structure within the squad, adding pro player Rockets as an interim head coach for the event, it felt almost as if it came far too late. After only making it to the quarters in Berlin, they did one worse at Champions, not even making it to the playoffs following a historic loss to Latin American champions Crew Esports. In the past, when Sentinels weren't on their best day, they could outmuscle teams, skill check them and then go for a quick teabag. But as the months moved along and the game evolved all around the world, their gunslinger mentality stopped succeeding. Hero clutch moments were now reserved to keep Sentinels in games, fighting for a lead, instead of being the exclamation point on top of a blowout victory. In 2022, Sentinels have an overall map record of 8 wins and 11 losses. What they used to do to teams last year is what the upstart The Guard did to them in the most recent VCT North America playoffs, running them off the server. In an interview following the loss with Nerd Street gamer Sage Datuin, Shazam said, "Right now, I'm not even sure we're trying our best, and it's disheartening. It feels like we're playing to not lose instead of win." And though they did bounce back in their next outing against version 1, it wasn't enough. They were eliminated in back-to-back games in the playoffs and denied any chance to defend their title in Iceland. The Masters sequel in Reykjavik will have new main characters and a new champion. While it seems like everything came crashing down overnight, it's been a process months in the making. Sentinels have only played 15 matches in the past 6 months. 15 matches in 6 months. During those periods of them not playing, teams were catching up and surpassing them, no longer weak on their feet to purely be outmatched and outmuscled by the North American champions. Which leaves us where we are now. Their interim coach is gone, their domestic reign has been discontinued, and their Iceland title defense has been snuffed out. On their best day, they can still compete and take games off anyone in the region, but gone are the days where they could win tournaments through pure skill and trust alone. The Guard and Optic Gaming, the 2 teams who did advance from NA to Iceland, have shown great adaptability throughout the VCT playoffs. In the case of the New Age Guard, the ones who usurped Sentinels to the top of the NA throne, they've been practicing daily at a facility in Texas for months, honing their craft with a dedicated head coach to get them ahead of the pack. Sentinels are at a crossroads, be it making roster moves, adding a head coach while keeping the roster intact, or blowing up the core completely. Change needs to happen for them to regain the glimmer they had around them 1 year ago. Whichever path they do decide to go down, I hope through the memes and vitriol thrown their way as the now humble trash talkers, that their era gone by can be remembered fondly in the end. For without their bombastic social presence and those special hero moments in game that made our heads spin, who really knows if Valorant would be as popular as it is today as an esport? But here's the dirty secret of it all. No matter what they decide, and regardless of the end result, be it Sentinels returning to the top, flipping off the world on their way there, or them falling flat on their face for everyone to see, everyone, even the ones who truly despise them, will be watching. Hey, I know I will.